I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm just the typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to move to Europe, or if you're just wondering why is everything so expensive in the United States, then you are in the right channel, because I'm looking at how the US is living the life in the US comparing to Europe or the Netherlands. And if you like this kind of content, then subscribe to the channel, and I will make more videos every day about the life in the United States. And for today, I started the video with things I loved about Texas as a Brit. So he went to Texas and what he loved about Texas. I'm curious what he loved. It's not that there's nothing to like about the United States, but I want to know his opinion about what he loved about Texas. So let's start with a subscribe and a like, and then we're gonna take a look at it from a Dutch perspective.
Texas got back Tuesday afternoon of last week.
Wait.
So it's been a week since we got back.
He's a week at home. Okay.
Back from Texas. Got back Tuesday afternoon of last week. It was such a quick trip, honestly. It went so fast. Like, we were there for just under a week. So
it went only a week. That's short.
6 nights, I believe it was, and we flew back on the 7th night. And there were certain things about it that I really, really loved. Like, you know, that sort of stand out. I just thought I'd have a little chat with you about it. By the way, guys, sorry for the shaky cam. I'm at my my family's house, so I don't have my tripod or any other like filming equipment. Literally all I've got is my like backup mic, so that's why the camera's a bit shaky. I'm like holding it with my hand, so sorry about that. So the first thing I really loved about Texas was the weather. And I know some of you are going to be thinking, Kabir, like it was really, really hot. What do you mean? I just love how consistent it was. Like here in the UK, the weather's really up.
Oh, comparing to the UK, yeah, the Netherlands is the same. One day it's hot, and the next day it's 10 degrees lower, or even hotter, 10 degrees plus, yeah.
And down. Like it might be warm on the Monday, and then the next day it will be like quite cold.
Yeah.
I just love the consistent heat of Texas. You know, whether it was Houston, Dallas, or Austin, the sun was out, it was warm. You know, you could walk around in a t-shirt and shorts. I really, really loved that because, you know, here in England, you get maybe a month to 5 weeks of summer. You don't really get a lot of summer. And it just feels like you kind of know what you're...
Only a month to 5 weeks? Well, Netherlands is on the other side of Britain, so we're not that far apart, and we are on the same line. So we have quite some hot months, but you know, last year we had a lot of rain, but usually, yeah, 8 to 10 weeks of good weather during the year. Yeah.
You expect being in Texas, you expect it to be warm for a lot of the year. The sun's out, you can walk around in your sunglasses, your shorts. You know, I had like a frappuccino and iced coffee in my hand most of the time when I was out there. It was brilliant. I really, really liked that. And I can imagine, you know, when it gets to like real summer, it might get sort of like too hot. And, you know, there were moments where it kind of was getting close to that when it was like 35 degrees Celsius and high humidity. But yeah, I still found it quite nice, to be honest with you. I know there's probably Texans watching this thinking, you know, Kabir, try and deal with that, you know, for 6 months at a time. And maybe because I've not experienced that before, I don't really, maybe that's why I'm speaking so positively about it. But
yeah, I'm wondering what time did he went over there? Let's take a look. If I get the right window. 3 weeks ago. So 4 weeks ago, this year. And he didn't have any trouble with entering the US. So all his papers should have was in order, because I was expecting someone who's talking about.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And kind of following on from the heat, like I loved how everywhere had air conditioning in Texas. You know, like let's say you get out of your car, you've parked maybe 5 minute walk from wherever you're going. Yeah, it's going to be really hot for that walk. You might start sweating a little bit, but as soon as you walk into that restaurant, it's like whoosh, you get hit with that gust of cold, crisp air conditioning, and it's everywhere. Every restaurant that we went to had air conditioning. Most of the bars had air conditioning. The hotel.
Yeah, but that's use. It's normal in the United States, but in Texas, with those 6 months of the year, let's talk about very hot days. Yeah, what else can you do? Oh,
Hotels, every single sort of like, even the university buildings when we went to MSU and Rice, all had air conditioning. And it just makes it so much more bearable, especially when you're living in a place like Texas where the summers get really, really hot. Like
yeah, of course.
here in the UK.
Because in the UK and in the Netherlands, let's say 90%, I won't say 95, but 90% of the houses have no air conditioning, and you have to open a window to get some fresh air. Yeah, I have air conditioning together with solar panels, so the cost of air conditioning with the solar panel is low, but a lot of people don't take air conditioning because it's rather expensive, and it's better to open a window than use air conditioning.
Air conditioning is only really found in office spaces. Most restaurants don't have AC. 99% of pubs and bars don't have AC. So, it was such a nice relief, like being in a place where everywhere had AC. And I know there's some people that will be like, it's not very eco-friendly. And I get that. But if you're living somewhere where it's really, really hot, you need AC.
Yeah, he's right. It's not eco-friendly, but I was in Spain again. If there wasn't AC in the apartment, you like me and like him, we are from the colder parts, the upper and north of Europe. We are used to cold, but we are not used to warm. So, yeah, AC very welcome, and then it's not that eco-friendly. I know.
The people were also really friendly. Like I really loved that because I'm somebody who, likes starting, conversations with people that I don't know. Maybe I'm in the queue, you know, at the grocery store and I notice that the person's wearing like an Arsenal top or something. I'll have a chat with you. So I'm the kind of person that likes having, quick random conversations with people. And Texas just had that in abundance. People would just hear my accent. They'd be like, "Are you from England?" And I'd be like,
Yeah, of course. Are you from England? Yeah.
"Yeah." And then we just have this like, nice conversation. It happened everywhere we went, bars, pubs, restaurants. It was really, really consistent throughout the different cities that we went to. And I just find that really charming. I think they call it Southern hospitality. I'm not sure if Texas is part of the South technically. Americans let me know if that's the case or not. But yeah, I
Yeah, it's in the south. It is near the Mexican border, so you would say it is South America.
really, really loved how open and chatty and approachable Texans were. Is that consistent throughout the whole country, or is that something unique to Texas and the South? Now, this, I suppose, depends on your perspective, but I loved the portion sizes. The portion
The portions, ah, yeah.
sizes were generous. Like, I would say the average portion size was at least 40 to 50% bigger in most of the restaurants than the restaurants that you'd find here in England. And
Yeah.
you guys know me, I'm a massive foodie. I really, really love my food. So it was just nice being properly full. Like sometimes you go to a restaurant here and I'm just not full, and I don't want to order two meals because they'll start looking at me funny. So it was nice, being able to know that, if I order this one dish, I don't need to order like a bunch of extras or a bunch of sides. It's going to fill me up.
Yeah, if you're coming over to Europe, most of the countries in the restaurant will give you a decent sized portion. But if you're used to the portions of the United States, yeah, you will be a bit disappointed about the portion size that you have in Europe. But on the other hand, it's also healthier. It's a healthier food that we serve in our restaurants.
And I guess if you're someone who maybe struggles with your weight, I can see why it might be a negative having like big portions as the default. But yeah, I loved it. I loved it. The convenience really blew my mind. Like, we've got Uber Eats over here, and you can get groceries and stuff delivered with Uber Eats now, which is pretty cool, but it is nothing compared to DoorDash and what you guys can get delivered to you. I told the story in
DoorDash. I never heard of it. Of course, package delivery, but DoorDash?
one of the vlogs that I made that, I'd ordered a pair of trousers, black pants, and I hadn't tried them on before we left, and they were too small. So, I was panicking, thinking I've only got one pair of trousers to wear for this whole trip. And, I went on Reddit and, I saw people saying, DoorDash, you can get clothing delivered. And I was like, no way can you get clothing. So I downloaded DoorDash. And the stuff has arrived. Bang on time, 24 minutes later, I have my black trousers.
What? Within half an hour? Oh, man.
Perfect. And yeah, you can literally buy clothes, furniture, all kinds of stuff and have it delivered to you within 30 minutes. I could not believe it. Like, obviously, you have to pay a delivery fee, sales tax, tip them and all that stuff, which, I suppose if you were to go and pick it up yourself, you wouldn't have to pay as many things. But, I was in a bind. I had to meet my friends at their hotel in like an hour. So I didn't have the time, to go to a Macy's or whatever. So it was just so cool, just having that facility. And yeah, just that sort of convenience, being able to get whatever you want, have it delivered to you. Such a cool feature. Like, I can see them bringing it here probably in the next few years.
Okay, well, I was wondering about how it was in England. He says bring it in a few years or so. In the Netherlands, and I was wondering why it isn't in Great Britain, but in the Netherlands, I know we have a 24-hour service. So it's not within half an hour, but everything from clothing to computer stuff to whatever you want, bicycles, within 24 hours. Most of the time, if you order it for 11 o'clock at the evening, you will have it the next day before 11 o'clock the evening. So, yeah, in the Netherlands, and I believe also because it's Amazon, in the Netherlands we have Amazon, but we have bol.com. We have bol.com, but in Germany there's Amazon, so this the same. And I do not know how it is in France and in Belgium, but there is also a 24 hour. So I was wondering, in Great Britain, they should have something like Amazon or two.
To be honest, I don't know why we don't have it now, but yeah, it will be very popular when they bring it here. Another thing is, because Texas is so big, the roads are just they're just straight, like very few corners, very few like sharp bends. Like when you're driving, you can almost kind of like just coast, really. Like your foot's on the gas, holding steady, your hands are on the wheel, and you can have like nice sort of like kind of in-depth conversations with your friends and stuff. Whereas here, because the country's a lot smaller, there's a lot of sharp bends. There's not very
That's what I love it when you have to shift gear, go up, go down, sharp corners. Yeah, I love it. But of course, in the United States, putting on cruise control and doing.
very long straights that go on for like miles and miles and miles, unless you're on like one of the main motorways like the M1 or something like that. So just being able to like drive in a chilled out manner, I thought is really, really cool. Texas is absolutely huge. I couldn't believe how big it is. Like, people had already told me, Kabir, Texas is massive. Texas.
Yeah, we cannot fathom how big America is. He from England, I'm from the Netherlands. From east to west, Netherlands is about, let's say, 2 hours with a car. From east to west, Great Britain, the main island, not Northern Ireland, but the main, it's about the same, 1.5 to 2 hours from coast to coast. We can, yeah, he went, I did it, I won't, but he went over there, and yeah, it's amazing.
As much I was like, how big can it really, really be? And my God, like we drove from Dallas to Austin, and that took 3 hours, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to like superimpose a little screen grab of how small that distance is relative to the entirety of Texas. It's mind blowing. Whereas if you were to drive 3 hours from the bottom of the country, you'd be near the middle. You'd be in Nottingham. Like someone told me that you can fit you could fit the UK into Texas 3 times, which
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
is crazy because the UK is made up of 4 countries. So you can fit 4 countries into one of the 50 states of America. That's just like
3 times 4 countries. Yeah.
mind blowing. And the final thing I'm going to touch on, but arguably the most important thing that I loved about Texas is the entrepreneurial spirit of the people. Like, there's an attitude in Texas that I felt so strongly. There's like a kind of go and get it sort of mentality that I loved. Everybody's trying to, better themselves. Everybody's chasing the American dream. Everybody's trying to make it, like, and you can see it when you're driving down the highways. You can just see businesses everywhere. People are hustling, people are moving. I loved it. I love that spirit. And that's really what made America into what it is today. That's really, that America, this titan, this economic juggernaut, is built on small SMEs, small and medium sized businesses. So it's just great. It was great being there and seeing that spirit, seeing the people,
I can imagine that. Yeah, that entrepreneurship. Yeah, yeah. But on the other side, there are a lot of people who trying and don't get it and get it. Yeah, it's not my kind of thing, but that they try and try and try to get the American dream. Yeah, yeah.
like embody that American go get it attitude that I loved. I wish we had it more here. Here, if you start a business, there's just so many rules and regs. And don't get me wrong, like rules and regulations are needed, to a degree, but it's a lot harder here, I feel, to start and build a business than it would be in a place like Texas. I feel like Texas probably encourages entrepreneurialism maybe a bit more than we do here. And that American dream, that American desire, to make it, to build a better life for yourself and your family. I loved it. I really, really loved it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, keep on trying. That's keep on trying. it's not my view. But yeah, I understand that he likes it because in Great Britain, it's not everyone who actually has the same kind of spirit to start up a business. But again, yeah, America is, to my opinion, overdone. It's overdone, and it's if you want to do, it costs not only a lot of energy, but it costs a lot of money to get something started without not being subsidized, or and if you fail, then you lost a lot of money. You are in debt, and then you're gonna try again. And yeah, it's admirable, but on the other hand, I'm too too much Dutch. That's it's crazy. It's yeah, for me, not logical. It's not logical to do this. No.
And I loved Texas, genuinely. I'm going to be back in America this year. 95% sure it's going to be in September or October. Because, I came with friends. I didn't really have the chance to vlog as much as I would have wanted. Because, because I've vlogged quite a lot. I didn't want to vlog the whole time, setting up tripods at the dinner table and stuff like that. So when I come in September, October, I'm going to come by myself or with a cameraman, and I'm going to explore. Hopefully, I'm going to do a meet and greet as well, so I can meet a bunch of you guys, which would be amazing. And I'll have a lot more time to do things, to film stuff, and it will just be awesome. Especially because football season would have started as well. Like I want to go to at least one NFL and one college football game.
Oh, that kind of football. I will, because he's British. It's a different kind of football. It's soccer because it's World Championship next year. So, but he was not talking about football. He was talking about college football. And well, yeah.
I want to experience tailgating and all the camaraderie. I think it'll be awesome. And like if you guys want to do something, shoot me an email. That's kabirconsiders@yahoo.com. And yeah, Texas was awesome. I will be back. So it's
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of positive news from someone who was in Texas. It's not all bad in the United States, I know, but this is great news to hear somebody who was positive about a lot of things in the United States and he's planning to go back. And I hope that I give you some information about how things are here in Europe or in the Netherlands. So if you're planning to come over, you also know a bit about that. I hope you liked the video. If you did, then press like. If you want to see more videos, can be on this one, and you can press this button if you want to subscribe to the channel, and that would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.